Hi, it's Will from stormthecastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is my latest tutorial. This is a fun foam board project. It is how to make Frostmourne from World of Warcraft. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sword. I love this project. Of course, I give you the template. You can print up that template and use it to make your parts. So there's no fuss, you don't have to worry about any of that. All the parts. Let me see, just a few things. It's foam board. This here is cereal box cardboard. The horns are crumpled newspaper and hot glue. It's really, really quite unique. Wonderful, wonderful project. You're going to enjoy making this. If you make it, make sure you send me a picture so I can send you a certificate of contribution. Thanks for watching my videos. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If you're not, hit that button. I do 2 new videos every week in all kinds of creative subjects. Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up. I read all comments. And give me a project suggestion if you want me to make something. You never know, sometimes I pick a project and I make it. Let's launch into the introduction, and then let's do how to make Frostmourne from World of Warcraft. Thank you. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and treasure stays, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, model boxes, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, the first thing you do is you go to the website and download the template. Cut out all the various pieces. There are 3 separate parts we're going to make with this template. And to start with this one, this is A, B, and C. Tape together parts A, B, and C. This makes up the blade. And then trace that onto foam board and make 2 of them. And then cut those pieces out. Now we're going to put a bevel on the edge of these as if it were a sword edge. And I'm using a beveling tool here, but that's okay. You can do this with a plain X-Acto knife. I'll show you that. But I'm putting this bevel on. It really looks good when the sword is complete. See how that is? You do the bevel here. You do it on the left and right side, and then you do it on the other piece too on the left and right side. So there are 2 bevels on each piece. See, now here it is with an X-Acto knife. You just hold it at an angle and cut that bevel. And then glue the 2 pieces together. Okay, so now let's do the second template piece. These are parts D, E, and F. It's D1, D2, E1, E2, and F. And then you trace that onto foam board and make 2 of these also. And glue those together. And the third and final template is G, H, and I. It's G, H1, H2, and I. Tape those together. You put that on foam board and you make 2 of those also. Just like that. Now for these you put a bevel on them too, like this. This is optional, but you can bevel these edges, it looks good. And do it on both pieces. So now put together the sword and the handle piece like this. It fits in that snugly. And then we're going to glue on a piece like this. It will hide that slot. And And you flip it over and you glue a piece on the other side too. So now let's put the writing on it. This is in the template. Cut it out of the template, put it down the center of the sword, and then use a sharp knife to cut out that pattern. Then you can lift up the template and pick away all the various pieces of foam board. I mean, this is optional. If you don't want to do this work, you could always just, paint it on afterwards. But it does look good, see it? And we're going to put glow-in-the-dark paint in those, which makes it look even better. But for now, let's seal it up. You picked away the paper and a little bit of the foam, put some glue in there, and then brush it in nicely so it's sealed really well. And these are the exact same characters, symbols, as on the real sword. So now if you haven't done it already, go ahead and glue those pieces on the second template. So you flip it over and you do the other side too. Excuse me, that's the third template. All right, so let's make the little skull. Take that piece from the template and glue it to cereal box cardboard like this. And glue it to the decorated side, the outside of the cereal box. And then cut it out. And then cut out the eye sockets and the nostrils. And score it down the middle like this so you can fold it. You're not cutting it in half, you're scoring it so it can be folded. So now we want to add this little extra detail here. See how the eye sockets and the nostrils are inset like that? It's easy enough to do. You cut yourself pieces of cereal box cardboard that's about the right size, and you glue them in the back, and I'll show you more. But what you do is to get them inset, you put a heavy bead of hot glue on there, and then let it dry. So it becomes a standoff. So then when you glue these small pieces of cardboard onto it, then you put more glue and glue the cardboard onto them. But then they're set back 1/4 of an inch. So it's like a little space there. It adds some depth to it, and a good look. See, I'll show you here. See it? It's really nice. Do that for both eye sockets and both nostrils. All right, so let's move on. Black paint or black duct tape for the handle and the crossbar. Looks good. Now see, to get the 3 dimensions out of that face, this is what you do. You fold it over like that and glue it in place, and it forces it into a 3-dimensional shape. It's very skull-like. So then you can glue it right down to the sword like this. Now add some details with hot glue, like see the eyebrows, the flaring of the nostrils, this beard here, some lines on the face. Look at the picture with the template to get an idea of how you can add those details. So now we're gluing ping pong balls onto the guard, one on each end. But you can, if you don't have ping pong balls, you can roll up a ball with newspaper, tape it, and then glue that on. And the horns, now this is probably the trickiest part of the whole process, but a little bit of practice, you take your time with it and you'll get it. You just roll up some newspaper thin like this and tape it with masking tape. And as you're taping it, shape it. And check it. Check it against the skull and the sword to see if you got about the right size. But being the trickiest part, it also is the nicest part. This is really makes a difference in the sword. So don't skip these horns. Let's see, it's going to look like that. And you make 2 of them the same size. Now once you go those horns the way you want them, and this is optional, you can use hot glue like this to put a pattern of concentric rings around it. And this also looks really good once it's painted. Just like that. You run a bead of hot glue, run a ring around it, run another ring, do it on down the whole length of each horn. Makes a difference. It looks really good. And for the cross guard, wrap some rope on them like this with 3 or 4 turns and do both sides left and right. See the crossbar there? The rope is wrapped. Now we make a pommel out of masking tape and newspaper. And you glue that onto the end of the sword. Put some more duct tape on it, and then wrap one wrap of rope, which is optional but does look good. And then cut yourself some strips of cereal box and put those on the handle, because that looks like, it ends up looking like metal banding. You know, when you paint them silver, they're going to look good. 3 strips, just like that. Now add some detail work with the hot glue gun. See, there are buttons, like as if they were rivets, and even a hoop, which is kind of nice. See that ring there? So we're almost done here building the sword. Couple more things, some nice details. With some small pieces of newspaper and masking tape, make yourself the spikes that go on the very end of the cross guard, right, as if they were pierced through the ping pong balls. And this is how you do it. You put a short one like this on the top meaning towards the blade, and then a smaller curved one with a spike on it on the other end like this. So it looks like it is some kind of a spike that is pierced through the ping pong ball. Do the same thing on the other one too. And that's it. We save this for last because these are the most delicate parts, but put a lot of glue on those horns and then glue them onto the skull head. And that'll be the end of the assembly part of this. All we'll need to do is paint it. So, and I'll show you. Put plenty of glue, and once you get those horns on, glue them down in the back like this. And use a lot of glue. And then reinforce it with some duct tape. Just like that. And the build is complete. Now we need to paint it. Looks really good. I like it. So the first thing to do is paint everything black. And this is kind of like a primer and a base coat for most of it. And if you want it to glow in the dark like Frostmourne does, put your blue glow-in-the-dark paint in the eye sockets and the nostrils and in the letters on the blade. I mean, you can, paint the whole thing with glow-in-the-dark paint if you want, but if you're going to do that, wait until after the silver. So now then you paint everything silver, and don't make it a uniform coat of silver. Let some of the black shine through. That gives it a really metallic look. See how it's scruffy and rough? It gives it a nice metal look. And then finish off the sword and the painting by painting the handle brown in between the metal bands. The metal bands stay silver. And that's it. You have made Frostmourne. If you make this project, be sure to send me a picture. I will send you a certificate of contribution. It looks great. This is a fun project. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing to my channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. I always have lots of fun and interesting and very creative projects. I do 2 new ones every week. As an example, here's a couple more videos you might want to watch.